Hi, and welcome to the Kale Houser Leadership Secrets podcast. Today we are going to talk about remarkable people. Good day, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm Kale Houser, and welcome back to the Kale Houser Leadership Secrets podcast. I hope you've been finding this podcast beneficial. The intent of this overall, just as a reminder, is kind of provide those a mix between that tactical level, tips, suggestions, and ideas about leadership and how to run teams, how to interact with teams, how to connect with your teams, as well as those overarching kind of mindset issues that leaders deal with. Can I be a leader? Can I be a good leader? Am I an effective leader? All those things, right? So I wanted to do this podcast to really kind of give those people that are looking for this type of information the ability to absorb it, and hopefully it's relatable and you get something out of it, right? I certainly enjoy doing it. So thank you for listening. Subscribes, comments, and likes are always appreciated. It helps me grow the channel, and I really appreciate it. But today I wanted to talk about remarkable people. Okay, we all understand at a core basic level that awesome people that are remarkable, are super valuable to have on your team, right? Whether that's you or somebody on your team, you understand that value and the importance of that person because they're such a high performer. They're willing to do the work. They're willing to put in the effort. They're willing to learn the thing. They're willing to put themselves out there and take risks. And really, they're just kind of winners, right? They succeed. They're remarkable. This is what sports teams are built around, those remarkable players, whether it be, Tom Brady or, who's a Ronaldo, right? Is that a soccer person? I don't know. I'm not a soccer guy whatsoever, right? Hernandez, all those types of people in these major sports leagues that are remarkable because they've got massive talent. But also besides that talent, and we got into this a little bit with Jeff Sorrow, it's their work ethic. It's what they do to show up. It's what they do to train. It's what they do in the off season, not just when they're actually on the field or in their arena doing the thing, right? It's their attitude. It's how they interact with the people around them. They're just remarkable, and it shows and comes out in their results. So we kind of understand the importance and purpose of having remarkable people around you and remarkable people on your team. And this is going to become a little bit of a tongue twister, I think, as I continue to say remarkable people. But the key question here is, because again, the target of this podcast is leaders, people that are leading other teams. Are you remarkable? Are you the type of leader that a remarkable person would want to follow? Okay, let me say that again and ask you the question so you can kind of think about it. Are you the type of leader that a remarkable person, whatever that looks like in your realm, in your arena, are you the type of leader that they would want to follow? Are you remarkable in your own way that other remarkable people are attracted to that and they want to be part of your team? Because in all reality and honesty, remarkable people don't work for unremarkable leaders. It just doesn't happen, at least not for very long. Certainly there is a learning curve where that remarkable person sees an opportunity, they're going after it. Maybe you've presented them something that is appealing to them. It's a challenge. It's a chance to excel. And they get there and they start, getting into your environment, whatever that looks like at your organization, and they're doing the thing and they're providing those results. And you're like, man, right, I just hit this out of the park. This is awesome. But as they continue to interact with you as the leader, you as the manager, department head, as the owner, they kind of begin to understand that, okay, this guy or gal isn't all that great. Right? Some of the things that they're doing aren't helping me. They're not helping the organization, or they're downright bad for the organization. There's nothing inspiring me here. There's nothing connecting me to this workplace, which hint, hint, that's what Kale Houser Leadership does. They help leaders connect, inspire, and gain that confidence to lead their teams, especially the remarkable people, because we all understand we have to have remarkable people on our team. You cannot do a business or an organization with just only lower level, entry level, uninspired, just show up for a paycheck type of workers. It just doesn't happen. But now the key question becomes, right, because we're all a little bit self-conscious, we have our own insecurities, I certainly do. How is it that you're remarkable? And maybe you even have an issue just saying like, yeah, I am pretty remarkable, right? It sounds arrogant to you. It sounds like you've got an attitude. But the reality is you have to learn to understand and accept, and let me be so bold as to say, advertise how it is that you're remarkable. Why should people want to come work with you and for you? What qualities about you make other people want to be around you and make other people want to emulate in you? And these could be intangible qualities, right? Like just kind of how nice you are. These could be actual physical qualities, like, man, you can bench press, whatever, 350 pounds, 400 pounds. Like, that's awesome. I want to do that. I want to be able to emulate that, right? That is remarkable. That is something I want to achieve in. And this could be in any kind of situation, any kind of industry. But there's a trick here, right? There is a fine balance between, letting people know that you're remarkable and just being arrogant about it, right? This kind of goes back to Nobody Cares That You're a Fighter Pilot podcast, because it is remarkable to be a fighter pilot. In all honesty, fighter pilot, to be a fighter pilot and fly around in a jet, a multi-million dollar jet is pretty awesome. What you have done to get to that point is pretty remarkable, right? You've proven yourself over and over and over and again and continue to do so as something that can handle that. However, how most people present it is it comes across more as arrogance than it does like, wow, that's pretty cool. I want to be like that someday, right? So are you, as the leader in your organization, are you making sure that other people know that you're remarkable, right? And the intent of this is not to puff yourself up. It's not to, make yourself look good. The intent of this is really on the inspiration side of the spectrum. It's really on the like, hey, this is what I have been able to achieve, and this is what makes me awesome, right? And you can do that too. And I can show you how to do that. I can provide you with those opportunities to get to my level, right? This is what leaders do. They bring people up. They help them out in order to achieve success, whatever that looks like in your industry and in your life. But the trick is you have to let people know. I've certainly been around commanders and leaders that I have no doubt that they were remarkable in their own way. Like some were previous pilots and things like that, flew airframes that I think would be super awesome to fly. And I kind of understand what it took for them to get there, right? But they were so, I don't know if reserved is the right word, but they were so quiet about it that really nobody knew. There was nothing really, when you looked at them, because they were just really quiet and reserved, that like, okay, cool. There was nothing to inspire action. There was nothing to emulate there because nobody really knew about it. So there is that fine line between being humble, being reserved, and being arrogant, that you can use your experiences, you can use your past to actually inspire and help others to achieve without sounding like an arrogant prick, for lack of a better term. Okay. And that, go back to that fighter pilot podcast, and I talk more about that balance. So there, like I said, the point being, there is a balance between being humble and being actually inspirational to the people around you. And the trick, well, not the trick, but a thing to remember here is flat lines always fall. Right? So let me say that again, right? So think about your life. You're on this flat line. Like you've achieved the things you want to achieve, right? So your graph was going up for a while, and now you've achieved what you want to achieve. You're running your own business. You got that CEO job, whatever that is, and now you're like just maintaining, right? You're on this flat line kind of thing is what your life is. But if you don't understand this principle, flat lines always fall. They never stay flat because everything around them is fluctuating, whether it's going up or going down, and typically going up. And the easiest analogy to think about this is our current economic situation. So it's, May of 2022, inflation is it's one of its highest rates in recent history, certainly. I think I want to say the last 40 years, whatever it is. So you may have this, say you've got $100,000 in your savings account right now, and you're like, sweet, we'll even say $5 million in your savings account. You're like, hey, I've got my nest egg. I'm retired. I'm going to just ride this and spend the rest. But the reality is, unless you're putting more money into that and your interest in the things you're doing to earn money is outpacing inflation, that $5 million is getting less and less and less and less, right? Because our inflation is like 5% plus now. So unless you're earning more than 5%, you're actually losing money every day, right? You understand this principle. And it's the same thing with experiences. It's the same thing with education. It's the same thing with how we go out and attack our workplace and grow. If we keep everything flat, we're actually losing, right? We're failing because that flat line never stays flat. It's killing your organization. It's killing your people. It's killing your growth. You have to keep growing. Now, how this goes back to kind of my intro of Remarkable, not to get too much off on a rabbit trail about inflation and things of that nature, is you have to invest. You have to recognize that remarkable people want to follow other remarkable people. And you can't stay and continue to be remarkable just on your laurels. You can't be like, yep, I was a fighter pilot back in the day. I was this awesome... the Guinness Book of World Records holder in 1982 about the yo-yo, and now you need to follow me because I can teach you all about yo-yo. Like, well, yeah, things develop and new concepts come out, and there are challengers to that crown. You have to keep going. You have to keep raising that bar. And what this comes down to is understanding, and coming back to kind of the business sense of this, is understanding there's this concept of a lighthouse in your organization. And that's that one person that is the beacon to everybody else. Now, ideally, in most situations, this should be you. This should be you as the leader, as the owner, as the department head, as the person who developed this team around you. You should be that lighthouse. And it can't be in every sense, right? You can't be all things to all people. But you should be that beacon for other people, that remarkable person that other people are drawn to, right? A lighthouse isn't just for warding people away and warning of danger. It's also letting them know, like, hey, the harbor's over here, that kind of thing, right? I think that's right. I hope that's right. I'm not a mariner by any stretch. I'm not a Navy guy, so maybe some of my Navy guys could straighten me out on that. But you understand the concept of it, right? A lighthouse is a beacon. There's something that attracts but also warns. In this sense, we're using in the sense of, hey, there's the coastline over there. The lighthouse is there. And you need to be that for that. Or minimum, you need to identify the lighthouses in your organization that can be those beacons for other people, right? You may not be an awesome finance person, an awesome HR person. You may not be the best operations guy or gal in your organization. So you need to identify who that is. And again, they should be remarkable in their own way. You need to help them figure out how they are remarkable in their own way and what they're doing to attract other remarkable people around them, okay? This is what I would consider a basic concept, but it's also something that's very critical to understand and figure out to get yourself wrapped around on. So be remarkable, right? Let people know how you are remarkable. For an example, I'm a pretty remarkable guy. I'm doing this podcast, which I think is remarkable. I've dedicated to doing this podcast and putting one out, publishing one Monday through Friday, every day of the week, right? That is something that most people don't do. Most people will put out a podcast once a month or once a week or whatever that is. And I've dedicated to kind of step up the game because I care about building my business. I care about you guys as leaders to be able to use this information and content that I'm providing to better your organization. And hopefully I can help you with that, right? If you have found this beneficial, let me know. A like and subscribe is always welcome and always appreciated, but certainly shoot me a comment like, hey, Kale, your Lighthouse comments just didn't make sense. You need to do better research on that. Or, man, I super related to that remarkable concept because I think I am pretty remarkable, but I'm not doing a good job at advertising it and people think I'm kind of a slug, right? There's that balance. So yeah, thanks again for listening to me. I really do appreciate it. I hope you're finding it beneficial. I know you're finding it beneficial if you're applying it. Make sure you check me out at kalehouserleadership.com. Get your free gift that I've got for you there. Get involved in our ecosystem. Pretty soon, depending on when you're listening to this, we've got kalehouser.com. We'll be coming on live. So we'll have more information and content coming on there soon. And I'll let you know when that happens. Hey, thanks for joining me. No matter where you're at in the world, hey, have a fantastic afternoon. Bye.